Carlos Nelson with Cascade Sports. Today we have a hometown athlete go to Texas A&M.
Corpus Christi, yep.
Corpus Christi. Who do we have here?
Paige Allen.
Hey, Paige, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so yeah, I'm from Kansas City. I went to Oak Park H.S. Graduated from there in 2020, and then now I play basketball at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I'm majoring in wildlife biology there. This is my going to be sophomore year there, and I'm really looking forward to our season this coming season.
All right. Off camera, I talked to you about your Oak Park career. Run that down a little bit, what that was like from your freshman year, because we had some off camera discussions about really some of the ballers in your family. And run your freshman through your senior year down.
Okay, so my freshman through senior year, I started out starting as a freshman at Oak Park. Played pretty much whole games.
What position do you play?
At Oak Park, I was kind of a combo guard. I just kind of shifted between each position wherever they needed me or wherever was best for me each game. More so towards the last few years I was there, I was more so the point guard, was my main position. Just bringing up the ball was something that other people couldn't do under pressure. So I kind of had to take that role. But yeah, my freshman year, I scored I think I had a total of about 500, almost 600 points that season, which put me at my halfway mark for my 1,000 points, which I got my sophomore year. And then I believe my junior year, I beat the record for the women's basketball, the all-time leading scorer of Oak Park women's basketball, which was, I think it was held for about 30 or 40 years, I think they said.
Go, girl.
Yes, it was a big accomplishment for me. I think that point, it was about 1,500 points, somewhere around there. So then leading up to my senior year, I got my 2,000 points. And then we actually won conference for the first time in school history that year. And I just had a lot of big accomplishments throughout my 4 years of high school. So
what made you go to Corpus Christi down there in Texas versus first of all, tell our audience who was trying to recruit you at that time? What school?
I was being recruited by Wichita State. KU was looking at me. Mizzou had come to some games. Oklahoma State was looking at me. UMKC, Omaha, Nebraska, Tulsa. I had a lot of people recruiting me and offering me at the time.
How did you feel? Reason I'm going FBI, CIA on you, because some of the young athletes, we talked off camera, and I said some of your teammates are gonna look at this and what have you, so that a kid that's looking at this, they understand the road that they're traveling now, you've traveled, and so forth. So what made you decide to go to down there in Texas? Versus KU is basically, everybody wants to, KU and Mizzou, if you from around here. Or even Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, when we went to visit down in Corpus, me and my parents really liked it. The coaches and the team, it just really felt like home. Coming from AAU, on my AAU team, I played for Della Lamb, Running Angels, and the team was very home-like, and that's kind of the feel I was looking for. I knew some people that went there. My teammate Alicia Westbrook from Kansas City, Missouri, also goes there. And it just felt like I was supposed to be there.
Fit.
So that's just where I decided to go.
Did you consider, or did any HBCUs look at you? Or did you did that even come in your mindset?
I actually did once. I would have wanted to go to a HBCU. I always said I wanted to go to one if I weren't playing basketball. So I don't really know if any had reached out
Right.
to me, but that was definitely something I wanted to do growing up, was go to a HBCU.
So run down this first season.
So this season, my freshman year, I started a majority of the games.
On point or shooting guard?
I started out as a shooting guard, a 2-3 guard, and then towards the end of the season, we had some players get hurt, and so that pushed me to being our point guard. Even though it wasn't really in my comfort zone anymore, I still was able to do good and help my team out there.
That's what my next thing I wanted to ask you. What do you really like to play?
I like to be a 2 or 3 on the wings.
On a 1 to 10, what's them handles looking like? Don't jibe me, girl.
I don't know. I'm not really the fancy type. I just kind of
no. 1 to 10 don't have nothing to do with fancy. Has to do with what you said earlier, bringing that ball up under pressure and them.
I think I would say about an 8. I can handle pressure.
Probably a 9. Or maybe even a 10. What's your favorite place on the court to take your shot?
I would say probably closer to mid-range. I think mid-range is my game. I'm not very much of a far shooter. I just like to pull it up and shoot from there.
You got a crossover by any chance?
Yes, I have a crossover.
Do you go hard in the paint, or what's going on with that? Or are you tiptoeing through the tulips?
I go hard in the paint. I tend to know how to kind of move my body around people easier than some people do. It's kind of something that's good in my game that I've kind of mastered. So just being able to maneuver my body to get around people is kind of my thing.
I'm going to go retro because old man forgot to ask you a few things. Talk to our audience and tell them some of the mentors you had coming up from Biddy Ball. Give them their props.
Okay.
Coaches and things.
One of my big mentors were my coaches at Delalam, Coach Tony Woods, Maurice Jackson, and then David Bennett. Those were 3 of my big coaches growing up.
Shout out from the baby girl coaches.
They really pushed us hard in that program and taught us what it to be as a young Black woman growing up and expectations and stuff. So they did a really good job mentoring us and teaching us the sport. So yeah.
Well, boy, because I ask usually on the basketball side or the sports side, but on your personal life, mm-hmm. as a human being, run them mentors down. And it seemed like some of them guys was involved in that too.
Yeah. I got to say my parents, they really pushed us as
my audience don't know their names.
Cleveland and Angela Allen.
Shout out from the baby girl.
Yeah, they really did a great job teaching us how to act and what to look like, expect in life, and how to go about things. And it really set us up to have a great life. So
how do you feel you finished up your freshman year?
I think I had a pretty good freshman year. I did deal with some injuries back to back that kind of set me back a little, I feel, but I think I pushed through. I think I ended up averaging about 9 points a game, which, I mean, coming from high school is a little lower than I was, but it's college. College is completely different than any other.
Talk to them about the speed of the game and everything. The transition from high school to college.
Yeah, so college is way faster than high school. You got to think faster and you got to be able to move faster and adapt to games. Every game, you have a different game plan. So you have to be able to adapt to the people you're going to be guarding and how they play, because you'll go play somebody that plays completely different the next games. You just kind of, it's like a mental thing. You just have to be able to listen to your coaches really, and just go with the flow.
Are you a student of the game?
Yes.
I ask that a lot of times. Kids, yeah, I'm a student of the game. I watch the NBA. That's not the student of the game. But how do you feel that affects your game, understanding the game?
I think it really helps me. I think it gives me a better IQ of the game, knowing what to do in certain situation, especially in crunch time. So I don't like choke and like do things that I don't really want to do. Later, I look back and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I think it really helps with that, just being mentally prepared for anything to happen.
Uh, what are you looking forward to doing this season?
This season, I'm hoping that we can possibly go win conference. The year before, they actually had won conference for the first time. So I hope we can go and do that this year. We have a good squad coming in, some new people added to our roster that could definitely help us this year.
I'm retro again, because when you were saying about those injuries, I want you to talk about them and talk about the mental part of that, because these athletes, some of them get injured and then if you're not strong, run that down.
Okay, so I think it was right when conference play was starting. I had got a concussion in a game. I took a blow and I was out for about, I want to say a week or a week and a half, just going through protocol and all that to get back to playing. Then my first game back, I hurt my ankle. So then I was in a boot for maybe 2 weeks. So those were kind of back-to-back injuries. And I've never been injured, like never sat out a game before in my life. And so having to sit out multiple games was definitely hard, sitting out of practice and watching everybody else be able to do stuff. It wasn't something I was used to. So it was kind of hard for me. But I just kind of focused on getting back because we still had many games to play. I'm actually injured now. My postseason, I had some injuries that kept me out that came from season. So it gets tough mentally when you're not used to that, or even if you are used to it, not being able to do what you love. But you just gotta push through and do the things that you can do so that you're ready when the time comes.
All right. From that story there, what came to my mind is, how starters, they start. You have that mentality per se. You starting. You're gonna be playing. But now that you're sitting on the bench, now does that give you any empathy for your teammates? There are teammates that really they suit up and they don't get a minute's playing time and what have you. Did any of that ever cross your thought pattern as you were sitting on the bench?
Yeah, it did. I definitely felt for them. I was like, because not something I'm really used to for say, but feeling what they felt, I didn't like it, so I know they weren't liking it. So I just kind of try to encourage them and be like, hey, you got it. Just keep your head up, keep pushing and working hard is all you can really do. But yeah, some of my close friends on the team were in those situations, but I just told them you gotta be mentally strong.
Yeah, because I know some athletes don't even think, all they're doing is riding they wave, and they think, but they don't think like that. When you get hurt and you really see, dang, I might not even be able to come back, and I might have to work my way back in the lineup. You know, that's a lot of. Now let's switch gears. As I said, that Cascade Sports is home of the student athlete. I'm going back again. Let's go back to your high school, and what was your mentality on your education?
In high school, I was a great student in high school. It took I always pushed myself to take the harder classes growing up, going through high school. I think my GPA throughout high school was about 3.4, 3.5. So I kept a pretty high GPA. I made sure to get some college credit was a big thing I wanted to do in high school, so that kind of take it a little easier in college, not have to take certain classes. So that would be a really big thing I would push people to do, is take some college credit classes if they're available. It just taking harder classes gets you ready for college.
All right. So your freshman year, how were you doing academically there? And how easy was it, or how hard was it?
It was actually not as bad as I thought. I thought it was going to be super hard. But it really wasn't. It was a lot easier since I had taken the harder classes in high school, I think. I had a 3.4 this past year. So keeping pretty much that same GPA. Still had some tough classes. I mean, at times there were struggles, I'm not gonna lie. But it's just still the same as on the court. You gotta be mentally strong and be able to push through it. So that's kind of what I did, and just work hard.
Have you been back to your high school?
Yeah, I have.
What are you going to contribute to them, or what are you doing to, or do you have any plans to do anything with them, to talk to the girls, or the give back scenario?
Yeah, I do. My mom is actually a coach there at the high school, so I kind of want to like throughout the year just talk to some of the girls that I still know a few, but even the ones I don't know, maybe like when I come home, I could come home and like talk to them and kind of tell them about college, or just like be a type of mentor. I do like that kind of thing. Just help out people at my school that need it. I do want to be involved with my school still. So
I love it. Do you have any closing words to our audience or to your fans before we get off the air?
I mean, I would just say, if you're trying to be a college athlete, you just really gotta push hard. Hard work, it really does pay off, and it shows when you're working hard and when you're not. So, I mean, just keep it honest and work hard.
Excellent. I really enjoyed this interview with you, and we look forward to having you back on the show in the future, and possibly doing one of the breaks this year when you come home. And to our audience, we're going to be paying a lot more attention to our girl and our women athletes, because they usually get the shaft when it comes to these type of interviews. It's like high and by, and we hope you tune in. As we always say on all of our closings, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
This program is brought to you by the City of Fountains Coaches Association.